All right, welcome everybody. It's gonna be an awesome USA frame tour here. I swear we didn't plan this to be around the 4th of July and patriotic, but it's that time of year, baby. So everybody, welcome. We'll give it a few minutes for everybody to trickle in. Looks like we got 23 people here so far. 30, 31. So this is everybody. I'm Perry Brill. I am the CEO of Eyetrepreneur Media. I love education. I love independent products. And on the left of me, or how I don't know the orientation you see us, is Zewe. He's the CEO of Inovision. It's a company that you probably know about, but I'll let Joe describe that here in a few minutes. So for everybody in here, let us know where you're coming from. If you want to put your city and state in the chat, or you might be a country or a province. So I'm sure we have some Canadians and other areas here.
How you doing, Perry?
I'm good. How are you, Joe?
Good, doing well.
LA, San Jose, Denora, Denora, Pennsylvania. I don't know where that is. Probably
pretty close to Pittsburgh.
It's close?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool. Downtown Pennsylvania, Bob Fessmeyer. So
there you go.
Michigan, Miami. So cool. Well, guys, this is going to be a one-of-a-kind event. We did a Japanese frame tour probably about 8 months ago. That was pretty cool. And Joe is on the other side of the world in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The most bridges in the USA, right?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, that kind of plays in the eyewear line. We'll kind of go over through that soon. But what we're going to do is we're literally going to walk around and show you step by step how a frame is made from start to finish. We're going to debunk some myths. We're going to talk about acetate. We're going to talk about what makes quality eyewear, how it's designed. Can I do it in my home? And hopefully by the end of it, you're going to want to open an account or at least be inspired. And during the sales process, working with your patients, you'll be able to properly explain eyewear. We all know 60 Minutes totally screwed everything up and made it seem like everything's on a McDonald's line. And that's just not the story at all. So we'll give it a few more minutes here. So we got good 47 people so far.
Oh, good.
Well, guys, this is going to be fun, and I have something special here I'm going to share with you in a second. We're going to be doing raffles. Everybody like money? I just ordered some Amazon stuff today. I got some doggy shampoo. I got household cleaner, just a triple. Did you know a quadruple A battery exists? My mouse has that, and it's just a pain to go get those little batteries, specialty. So I'm giving away 12 Amazon gift cards of $25 each. Use them for your business, use them for personal. We're going to do a raffle. We're going to make it super fair. So let me share that with you here in a second. So Joe, where's Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the state? Give us a geographic kind of location.
It is in the southwest corner of the state. It's basically halfway between New York and Chicago.
Okay, cool. Population?
I think there's close to 2 million in the geographic region. Pittsburgh itself is pretty small, but it's mostly, the suburbs and Allegheny County.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to give everybody a phone number here. Let me share this. Share screen. Okay. All right, if you want to win an Amazon gift card, you can text this phone number. Just type USA to this number, and we're just going to capture some of your information so that way we can contact you. This is actually a community of optometrists, opticians, and industry people, a text message list I built, and I give about one piece of education a week or notify you of events. And it's a non-cluttered way of seeing things and getting information, and especially independent information. I'm not sponsored by Essilor. Joe is not owned by Essilor either, or Luxottica. And it's really important that we get the correct view. So just text that number. You'll be enrolled, and you'll win a gift card tonight, hopefully. So we'll give that a few minutes. So throughout this event, we want people to engage and ask questions during the process, because, you know, Joe's going to walk around, show us each piece of instrumentation, and we want you to ask questions. You know, where can I buy that? How long does that take? You know, what are the materials? Is that a normal bandsaw? So please get engaged. At the bottom, you'll see there's a Q&A section, and that's where you can load your questions. If you already have questions, just place them down there, and we'll make sure to answer them. And this eyewear line is launching like really soon, and everybody here is going to have really first access to that. So let me get back to my other screen. I'm going to check these text here. Give me a minute. Well, Joe, let's start with a little background. How did you get into eye care? How did you get into optical? I know you weren't born into it like I was.
Right. Yeah, originally I had a finance background, was involved with a couple of different companies, and with a couple of other people, we invested in Eyenavision. It was a pure startup. It was built around the chemistry clip. And yeah, we took it from a startup company to what it is today, which is a company. We have about 25 employees and been very successful. We built our business around the independent ECP, and we built it around providing good service and trying to come up with innovative products. So besides the chemistry clip, we do some frames that we import. We have a line of computer readers. We came out with a line of color vision deficiency lenses, CVD lenses for people who are colorblind. And then in the background, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been working on trying to launch this frame venture. And finally, in 2019, we moved forward with buying the equipment. And COVID kind of struck a blow, a big delay, but now we're ready to move forward. And we're scheduling a launch here for the end of July, beginning of August, and the full coming out party at Vision Expo West.
Awesome. Yeah. So Joe is, the parent company is called Eyenavision. I'm holding this up. Right. This is a chemistry clip here. I'm going to take it off. Well, I'll just demonstrate it. So one of the most important things about when you're dealing with a company is we want them to be around. I've been to Expo 1 year, you buy a frame line, the next year you're thinking, where are they? I need service, I need warranties, I need exchanges, I want new product. So it's really important when you buy frames that you're dealing with reputable companies who have capital. And I think that's why Eyenavision, the manufacturer of North Point, who you'll see here, is a great choice to buy eyewear from. They have this awesome product, which we'll go through a little later in a short dose. I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of chemistry clips over the year, and I'm sure many of you, I don't know, let's see here. Who sells chemistry clips in their office? Give us a yes if you do that. Put that in the chat. And then we'll get started with the tour here in a second. I love this. We got yes people. Scott Smiling says, good luck, Joe.
Oh.
Do about 12 a week. Who's that? You deserve a candy bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. All right. Lynette Schaefer. I love Lynette. Lynette used to actually work for my dad, but then she moved up to Montana to be out in the wilderness. And runs an optical. All right, last call. If you want to win an Amazon gift card, I'm going to put it right here in the chat. I just want you to text this number, and then we're going to get going. That was Drew, who sells 12 a week. So Drew's opening a location in Kansas City if anybody wants a job. I'm sure he's always hiring. What's the name of the eyewear factory? Well, while I'm doing this, Joe, why don't you begin with how did you decide to open a frame factory? You've been to China, I'm assuming. You've seen the complexity. You do international shipments every single day. You're shipping across the world, the country. How did you decide on frames?
We looked at a variety of different ways to expand the business. We wanted to do something that could really launched the business into a whole new venture within Optical. And we looked at opening up a lab. We looked at opening up retail stores. We looked at a lot of different things. None of those really felt right because a lot of our customers are labs and our customers are retailers. So we started looking at frames, and I've been through many frame factories, started talking to equipment companies who make the equipment to manufacture frames. We started building business models around it and talking to different people that had been in the business and making frames while them overseas. And gradually over time, we just the model kept evolving. We kept working on it. And then finally, we found an equipment manufacturer that could provide the bulk of the equipment that we were very comfortable with. And they really understood what we were trying to do. And they really had the same values as we had in terms of where we wanted to go with the business, and got along with them really well. And we decided to move forward, and it's been a great relationship, and it's gone extremely well so far. It's taken a little bit more time to get this off the ground because with COVID, a lot of the equipment we bought is from Europe. We can't get people in to train us. So done a lot with Zoom, a lot with just, trial and error and figuring things out. We've got a great group of people here working on this. So we're at the point now we've worked through the designs. We've been working with the designer, and we're ready to launch. There's about 18 designs that are in production right now. And we're looking to grow that, but we've got a lot of unique things that we're working on beyond the initial collection of designs to be able to really do something unique here. And I'm sure we'll talk about that as we're going through the tour.
Awesome. So we're going to get rolling here. And so let everybody know the format again. Joe's going to walk around with the cameraman, Anthony, and he is going to go step by step. If you have questions, put them in the Q&A section, please, at the bottom. If you put it in the chat, it's going to get lost. Please put it in the Q&A at the bottom, and we'll answer your questions as you go. First, we're going to start with a short poll. Everybody should see this on your screen. And we have an untitled question because I guess I'm not prepared. All right, the first question is, I'll announce it to everybody. Where's your car made? Is it foreign? Is it American? Or is it American, likely made in Mexico or elsewhere? A lot of times when we say something is American, it's like, oh, okay, we just put a screw in. We know how that is with Italy and Chinese. They call it Chitaly. You ship it to Italy, and then now it's Italian because that's where it's shipped out of. Happens all over. So it looks like mostly foreigners, so foreign cars. So it could be a BMW, a Hyundai, a Kia. It's funny how these Kias are $40,000 now. All right. All right. And the second question is, what's your industry role? So we got a good amount of doctors, opticians, a few reps. And who's ready to party at Expo is the last one. So it looks like the majority of people are saying yes to that. So Joe, it looks like you're standing in front of acetate. Is that a sheet of acetate, right?
This is many sheets. So we get the acetate. This is actually from Mazzucchelli, but it comes in these great big sheets that we rip to size for either frame fronts or sheets that fit into our Temple machine. This is a smaller sheet that is actually block acetate, which is what they're famous for. And then these other sheets are extruded, they're solid colors that we have. We're pretty well stocked right now, breaking these down every day. So we cut these to size, and then we actually plane them on a planing machine to make sure they're the right thickness. They're either
the way acetate works. So I'm going to put it in terms of wallpaper. When I go decide I want to put new wallpaper in my office, I look through a little flip book. They're pre-made wallpaper. I guess they could be custom made today. I'm sure sometimes you have to custom order it. Are you buying acetate like off a shelf from Mazzucchelli? Are you working with a designer to choose a color scheme that fits you? How do you actually, what's that process look like?
Both. We work with Mazzucchelli. Most of what we bought so far has been from all of it actually is from their existing collections. Sometimes they have it in stock, sometimes they have to produce it. We got a few things right now that they're actually producing, but most of this were things that were actually in stock that they had, and it shipped pretty quick. They have a showroom in New York, which is very helpful. And they're pretty good with giving us samples and doing the different things you have to do to make the selections. But we worked with an outside designer on the actual initial frame collection. named Odin Capello, who is an experienced designer. Probably a lot of people on the conference know Odin. And we also have a person in-house who has been very involved in the design, named Chris Wimbrose, who you'll get to meet, who is an architect by background, but he has a great eye for design, and he's very mechanical, and yeah, he's played a big role along with some of the other people here internally in terms of picking out the colors and trying to figure out what the first collection is going to look like. But we cut these acetate plates down, and this is what ultimately we want to get for a frame front, where we actually take a sheet of acetate and we bond pieces to build up the bridge and to build up the temples. And so the machine, I can take you back here to show you, it's called a friction bonder. And Christy is going to show you here how this works. So this plate is fed into the machine, and we have stacks of the small chips that then will get bonded on there under high pressure. This is probably the loudest machine that we have here. So go ahead, Christy, and crush that.
That makes a fun sound. We still there, Joe?
Yeah. And it spits it out on the side. Like so. And this is NT. So this is bonded together. That's not coming apart. And basically, you've got enough depth now for the bridge area and for the two temples to be able to fit into the frame. And that's basically how you make a plate. Since this room is so loud, we actually have our tumblers in here too. So we've got two sets of tumblers that each have 4 chambers each.
So let's talk about tumblers. So the way you attain polish on a frame, there's different types of polish, right? If you buy
4 stages.
Okay. So those are like what are those barrels made out of? Just wood?
They're made out of oak.
Okay.
And they're loaded with chips. So they come off. You can see this one is it's one of the finished tumblers that has very fine wooden chips in there that's mixed with a polishing compound that puts a very fine finish on the frame fronts and temples. So it goes through 4 stages. The first stage is the roughest stage, and it takes off the most on the frames. And the very last stage is just the fine polishing stage. We have these polishing compounds that we scoop out with these ladles that we combine with the wood chips that's used for the polishing. And basically, they shut off because we have a safety device here that prevents them from running. Press this button will start up again. Over here is kind of the heart of the operation. This is our air compressor that basically provides air for all the machines. Basically, all the machines here are pneumatic and require air pressure. We've got a system here that we created that supplies the air to all the machines. So that's that room. Over here, what I wanted to show you next is the machine where it all starts. This is a prototyping CNC machine. It runs on 5 axes, and basically we use it to cut frames that are in design, so we can figure out if the shape works, and we can figure out if everything lines up properly. We can make fine adjustments to it. This machine's a manual machine, doesn't have an automatic feeder, which is fine for prototyping. We also use this to cut a variety of other pieces that are used in production. We use it to cut these expanders, which are used to grip the frame when it's being cut on the CNC machine. We also use it to cut the plates that are used to bend the frame front to the correct base curve. And then Chris over here, come on over here, Chris. This is Chris Wimbrow. he's the architect that I was talking about before that does a lot with our design and figures out these frames that we're prototyping. This is a design that he's loaded into the machine. And then all the tooling is scheduled and then the machine would actually cut it. Once the design is done, it would move into production on this other machine, which is another 5-axis machine. The difference between these two machines is this is extremely automated. Has a feeder on it. You can basically load it up and it'll run. And if it errors out of there's an issue or problem, it'll notify you. But basically this machine can run unattended. If you open this up, you can see the motor and it has a tool chamber. And you can see the expanders here that actually grip the frame. So the frame is initially cut in between these two brass clamps, and then this will come over and pick it up. And we'll actually cut a frame here so you can see how this actually works. So Chris, if you want to fire that up. So as you can see, it picks up the tool, and then it'll cut the inner rings. It'll do kind of an initial rough cut. Now it'll come down and do another final cut, and this will actually put the bezel in the frame with a bevel. And now that it's done that, you'll see we call it the tool ups will come in and grip that and pick it up. And now it's able to cut the outside of the frame. So it'll change tools again. And this is the longest part of the process. And this is one of the most important things is how we schedule these tools and the speed with which we do these cuts. We want to make sure that we balance trying to get the best quality with trying to maximize the efficiency of the machine. So it'll shave down the ends of both sides. Yeah, this is putting some panel on it. Now it's going to cut the actual shape of the front of the frame.
So how did you guys actually get?
We need that build up for the temples and for around the bridge. That expertise, and typically we bond a piece of crystal colored acetate on there. It looks a little better and kind of stands out. As you can see, it's cutting around the bridge area.
Hey Joe, would you mind bringing your mic maybe an inch or two up and see if we can? Sure.
Is that better?
We'll find out once it's done cutting. It's a little loud.
Okay.
We'll be patient.
This machine can take anywhere from a little over 2 minutes to up to 5 minutes, depending upon the complexity of the frame and how many cuts it has to make.
So how long is this process usually that we're watching?
It could be anywhere from about 2 to 5 minutes, depending upon the complexity of the frame, how many tool passes we have to make, and then the speed that we have the tooling program for.
Okay. Someone is asking, what is the largest or smallest frame size you can make?
That's a good question. What's the largest frame that we have right now, Chris?
The largest frame we have, that's it, size cat eye. And that one, I think, comes in around,
Yeah. Yeah, we can. I mean, we can cut a pretty big frame. The issue becomes, you know, we've got to cut a bigger plate, and we have to adjust the feeder. But it can be done. I mean, we can do an extremely large frame. Here's an example of a large cat eye frame that we have in production right now. So when this is done now, it'll just knock that frame off the tulips, and it'll go into a bin, and it's done. So that's just what it's going to do now is cut the pockets for the hinges. So we want to displace a little bit of the plastic so that when we insert the hinges into the frame front, there's not excess plastic that spills out. And that is done. So that's cutting a frame front. The next process, and Dean will walk us through this, he's our plant manager, is the process for cutting a temple. Now, this machine's a little bit unique. Most frame factories, when they cut a temple, they cut the temple and then they go to a separate machine and they heat the temple and they shoot the core wire in it as a separate process. This is one of only a handful of machines in the world that actually does it all in one. So it's a 3-axis CNC machine, and it actually will heat this sheet of acetate, and then it'll shoot the core wire in and cut it out all in one process. So Dean, if you want to go ahead and hit that and start it. You'll see up in the corner, if you can see that, Anthony, it's actually heating the core wire, which will make it easier to insert into the frame front. And if you look down here, I want to go down here, Anthony, where it's heating the acetate now, a very narrow strip straight through so that you can shoot that core wire into it. Just bringing the core wire over. And it's got in there, Anthony, you may want to come down here. So now that the core wire is in there, it's going to cut off the actual temple. So cut to one side, it's going to change spools. One of the things that we do with the temples is we add an additional cut to help take off some of the sharpness on the towards the back of the temple that comes in contact with your skin, so that you don't get pain there that like you get with some sharper temples. We do that because otherwise to do that we would have to tumble the temple more, and we want to preserve the design cut with less tumbling, and so we do that additional cut. We call it a comfort mill. And I'll cut the other side of the temple. And now it's going to put that comfort mill on the edge. So it just tapers right off the frame. And now that'll push it off, and that temple is done. Let me go around and grab it. So you can see that temple is inserted in there. It's not come out. It's a perfect shoot right down the middle. And this machine is amazingly accurate. So what we do with the temples before we tumble them, we put this plastic cover over the tip that protects that part of the hinge. And that's basically for the temple machine. Like I said, this is an extremely high-tech piece of equipment that really saves a lot of time, and it's also much more precise cutting these on this type of a CNC machine as opposed to cutting it on a separate CNC machine and then inserting the core wire separately. There's even some factories still that stamp out the temples, and then they have to do a lot of hand processing to get them into the right shape. With this, we've got a lot of flexibility in terms of the design. It's very efficient because you actually load these long sheets into the machine, and once you get it set up and running, it'll basically run on its own. And if there's an error that kicks out, it notifies us, and we can solve the problem immediately. So that's how we do the temples. So these are the two most high-tech machines in the shop. And also the prototyping machine also is a very sophisticated piece of equipment.
Hey, Joe, while we get to the next step here, I'm going to do a raffle, give you a little breather break. You want to get a drink or something? I'm going to turn my video on. Hey, everybody, I'm Perry. We're going to do a raffle. We're giving away some $25 gift cards here for your appreciation for attending. And I'm going to give the people that already are on the list to win a raffle will be first. And if you need to join the raffle, I'll get you there. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So here's everybody's names just to show you this is the truth. And let's give this a wrap. All right. I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. All right. Raffle roll. Here we go. All right, Mariana Petrosian, you won $25. You get to go on an Amazon shopping spree. Thank you for texting the number. We will we'll text you probably tomorrow morning and let you know how we'll get you your gift card. All right, congratulations. Next $25 winner. Luz Maria Kamid. Congratulations, supporting Jeff Bezos' retirement. Maybe his like 30th retirement. And one more. Thomas Scotty, maybe Scoshi. Congratulations, $25 for you. And we're going to get back to the show. Thanks so much. And I'm just going to put this up. If you want to be involved in the next raffle and you haven't got there yet, let's see here. Just text us at this number and you'll win a $25 Amazon gift card here. So I'll give you like 30 seconds to text that. We're not going to spam you. It's all private, it's mostly education that we'll send you and events like this, exclusive events. If you don't know me, I'm Perry. I run a company called Eyetrepreneur Media, do a lot of software consulting, lead generation for companies, and work with cool people like Joe, who has awesome products and just has to get them out into the market. And just, I think we underestimate how hard it is to get the word out. So text that number there. And I'll put this in the chat too, so you can get that number if you're missing it. Anyways, let's get back to the tour here, Joe.
Okay, Perry. So what we showed you was the more automated machine. Now we get into the equipment that really requires more handwork and more skill on the part of the person who's actually making the frames. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is we've got to sink the hinge into the frame front. And this is a pretty basic machine. It heats up the hinge. We pull hinges out of a little bin that we keep. There's a 3-barrel hinge, and it goes into it's clamped by this brass piece. It's almost like what opticians use, hot fingers. And then we have these different tools that we fit in on different places for the frame front that we have attached. And then we have a pedal here that you hit, and it shoots or it puts the hinge right into the frame. And once that hinge is in there, it's not coming out. So these are sunk into the plastic. The plastic's partially melted, and it comes out looking pretty good. Here's an example of one that has been sunk in there. And then after we do that, we put a cover over the top again. And this cover is actually specially made, so it protects the hinge. It also protects an area of the frame that helps maintain an angle that's very important when we get to later in the process when we do the angling. And so this would be a style that's ready to go in the tumbler. So after we do that, the other step in the process is to put the base curve on the frame front. And so what we do, we have a turntable heater that heats the frame front so it's nice and soft. And then we have this machine, which, while it looks rather basic, it's actually fairly sophisticated, and it's a little bit different than what a lot of factories use to bend their frames. We actually, on the prototyping machine, cut a special base curve matched frame front form for each frame design. And then we also specially cut so that the bend on the bridge area is proper. And
I want to, Joe, I want to interrupt you here.
Yeah.
What I'm comprehending from this is, I know many times you put on a frame and a month later it's stretched out. Is that
Right.
because they weren't forming the front correctly, or what?
It can be a lot of different things. It can even be due to the quality of the acetate. It can be due to, you know, if it's been exposed to heat, it can lose its shape. But one of the issues in the that I saw in touring other factories, a lot of factories just have these generic aluminum plates, and they'll have 3 or 4. They're each, you know, different base curves, and they'll pull out if this is a 4 base frame. Here we use this one. If it's 4, 4.5, we use this. If it's a 5, we use this. What's unique about this is we can actually customize the shape for each frame. So there's a custom plate for every frame design. And then what's also nice is when you get around the bridge area, it's very important that that shape is done properly. And where you put that bend in is done at different steps of the process. And we do that as part of this process. And we actually have a tool here that we have that is different shapes that slides in, and then it's clamped in with a screw to be held in place. And that's what helps put the proper bend around the bridge. And that's a very important part of the design. And then it has these silicone pieces that press into it and actually press the frame front into this shape form. And then we cool it in cool water here underneath there so that the acetate sets to the right base curve. So that's that machine. Over here is a mechanized screwdriver, which basically it vibrates the screws and it allows you to pick them up with this. And then it comes over, picks this up automatically with a suction. And then you put the frame front on here. It lines up with the hinge, and then it automatically puts the screw in. You can set the torque and you can have it so that it's at the right it's at the right strength so that the frame opens and closes smoothly. We're using OBE hinges, as you can see here. We've got 3-barrel hinges and 5-barrel hinges. The system that we use from OBE is one where with the 3-barrel hinges, we actually have the screw is uncoated. The piece that you screw into actually has a coating on it to prevent it from coming out. With the 5-barrel hinges, we use a coated screw. And that's the system that they recommended for us. We tried a couple of other ones, but that's the one that seemed to work best in combination with our Temple machine as well. Over here is a machine that really is a extremely important machine, requires a lot of delicate calibration. And it's a machine that puts the angle on the temple. So if you look at a temple, there's an excess piece here that needs to be cut off to fit to the frame front. And so this angling machine allows you to set that up, and then you push this forward and it presses against this metal piece that establishes the angle, and then you can cut that to the right angle. We typically set this up as we're calibrated for a specific frame model, and we keep a master frame model for each design so that we get the same angle on each piece. And this is what it looks like after it's cut. Nice smooth cut there. And the goal is to get this temple to fit to the frame front, so you've got a nice flush finish with the between the temple piece and the frame front piece. You want to have to do as little additional polishing as possible to get those to fit smoothly. And a lot of what Chris does when he does the design is to really work and you know, with extremely fine adjustments to get those to fit properly. And then finally, after the frame is assembled, it goes into this machine that actually you slide this in, and it you press a pedal button, and it comes down and it bends the temple, and it puts the curvature on the temple piece. And that is actually it gets jammed in the wrong spot, but it goes like so. And it's pretty foolproof. I mean, it takes and it puts the bend in. There's still to be a little bit of adjustment. We use a form for to get the right calendaring of the temple. But that is a very important machine. And then on some models, we actually put an angle on the front of the frame itself, and that's what this machine's for. It's similar to the angling machine for the temples, but you actually put the angle on the front piece. So that kind of covers the assembly side. The next area, and this is extremely important, is polishing a frame. So after the frame's gone through the 4 stages of tumbling, it comes out and it goes through polishing. And Christy here's polishing one in the first step, which is the roughest of the polish. If there's any kind of nicks or marks, she'll bring that out in this step. And I run it through here. We run this at about 1,500 RPMs, and we use what we call a red polish. And then it advances to the next step, which would be a green polish, which a little bit finer, still a very rough, very rough grit. If there's any kind of marks that are left over from the first stage, this would remove them. You do a very fine, soft polishing. It's really an art. You don't want to put too much pressure, you'll gouge the frame. From step 2, it goes to step 3, which is this next wheel. It's a finer polish, slightly lower speed. This runs at about 1,200 RPMs, and it will start to bring out the shine and the luster in the frame. And then finally, the 4th and final polish, we slow it down even a little bit more, and we use a gold colored polish, and it brings out the final gloss. And at that point, the frame is done. And hopefully it comes out, it looks something nice and shiny like this. Now what we have now is we've got a frame, it's completed, and actually before we do the polishing, the final polishing, we actually engrave it. And to engrave our frames, we actually have a laser engraver. And Gary here is our expert on engraving. And so you see here, what this is a template that we created that holds temples. And the program on this machine will go through and engrave all those temples at once. It takes about how long, Gary?
It's about 30 seconds.
A temple. Okay, so it's fast. And we'll engrave one of the temples. So I have to close the lid here. This has a vacuum on it that it takes away all the dust and smoke from cutting the temple. So it'll be just one in the back. So you can see how fast that thing operates.
Wow, that's crazy. And I've felt, everybody listening, this is Perry. I have touched and felt the North Point Eyewear. The laser engraving is legit. It's just very burnished in.
So this is what it looks like after it's been lasered. It's kind of hard to see, but then we go through and we paint it. And since the laser is indented the frame, it's cut into it, the paint actually sits inside where it's been cut. And so you end up with a very nice paint job that is not going to come off, unlike pad printed frames where over time, it can wear off. These, I mean, this is a very permanent paint, very permanent marker. And then we engraved 3 bridges on the temple, which are for the 3 sister bridges in Pittsburgh, which is part of our brand story. So this machine is amazing, this laser engraver. We actually use it to cut the acetate into plates as well. And it's amazingly accurate, it's fast, and there's a lot of other applications that we're looking at using this for. We actually use it to cut the demo lenses for the frame as well. So when we do that, we cut the demo lenses, we actually can engrave our logo on the demo lenses as well. One of the other pieces of equipment back here is a large ultrasonic cleaner, which we've got some temples that were made here that have just gone through and been cleaned. How long do you clean these for, Gary? About a half an hour. And then Gary actually built this this device, which actually holds the frame fronts, better organizes them in the back. And the great thing about this is you can also use this to get a good accurate count of how many pieces you're actually putting through the cleaner. So we take this off. We have a tub here that we can rinse those off. But when they come out of the tumbling process, there's a lot of gunk and grime on them from the tumbling compound that we want to get off, and we want to make sure that they're as clean as possible for the next stage of tumbling. And then we do a final cleaning before we assemble them and do the polishing and the engraving. So this is our nice big ultrasonic cleaner. I think that pretty much covers the main steps for how we make frames here at Perry.
All right, I'm going to ask a few questions, and we got so many people that have technical stuff that you'll want to sit down, or if you can stand up, that's fine too. What is North Point Eyewear? We'll let you sit down and chill for a second while we get through the Q&A. Housekeeping, everybody. There's a Q&A section at the bottom. If you want to ask Joe questions, tell him about his dashing looks or talk frames, then please put it in the Q&A. It's easier for us to organize that. Actually, I'm going to give Joe one break here, and we're going to do another raffle. So I'm going to do that. All right. Let's see. Where is my raffle website? All right. Oh, I need to add more people to this. Give me a second. Well, Joe, while I'm adding these extra people there, tell us what North Point Eyewear is. Why North Point? You might have said it already, but probably had some people coming in late too.
Yeah, so we looked at a variety of different names, and we work with an outside branding agency as well. And the name we ended up coming up with was North Point. The concept of pointing north for guidance. We're actually on North Point Drive here in our office building, the factory here, and it tied in well with. We thought the overall brand story around, a lot of it has to do with our hometown here, Pittsburgh, and the bridges, and we created a North Point logo, which kind of looks a little bit like an eye chart, and that's the brand that we're developing, and we've developed a brand story behind it, and that will be our North Point. And we'll also do some things with private labeling as well. So not everything that we produce here is going to be for North Point Eyewear.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let me get back to there, and then we'll go through the fun part of the Q&A, because I think that's where we get a lot of education. All right. So here we go. We're giving away a $25 gift card. All right. Colleen, is that your wife or daughter? That doesn't count.
My daughter. What? It's a Colleen. Yeah.
Get out of here, Colleen. All right. All right. All right. Carlos Artelejo, you are a winner. Okay. And let's pick another one. Congratulations. We'll text you, tell you instructions how to redeem. Cliff Brooks, you are a winner, and we'll do one more. And Lynette Klein, winner, $25. We'll get back to the show now. So I'm going to just announce some things here. Bob Festmeyer wanted to know, what is the hourly output of this assembly system?
We can do between a little over 200 frames a day right now is what we're designed for. If we really pushed it with the machines we have here, we could do 300 a day. And that would be running the machines about 16 or 17 hours. You get much higher than that, you're going to run into issues. And at that point, we would buy another set of equipment. The limiting factor is what we can put through the CNC machines. These other pieces of equipment aren't as expensive, and we can buy additional pieces, but it's the frame front machine that's the limiting factor.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let me ask a lot more questions. Where are your acetate sheets made from? That's from Paymon.
They are made from a combination of cotton and wood pulp.
Okay.
It's plasticized and made into acetate.
Okay. And Italian, German, French acetate?
Right now, we're buying from Italian companies. The first shipment we have in is from Optical.
Okay. This is from Larry. I don't know his last name. Who is your target market with North Point Eyewear? So I'm assuming this is more on the business side. You
Right.
know, you're a quality operation. You're not going for volume. You're going for people that have an obsession with eyewear, or
Right.
they care about their looks. They care about quality.
Our target market is the independent eye care professional. It's typically the owner operator. It's people that want to be close to the brand. It's people that want to have something a little bit different. And it's people that are interested in having a brand that they can really relate to, understand the brand story, and really convey that to their clientele and their patients. And that's really who we're looking for. So, yeah, it's basically the people that we've been successful with the chemistry club, to be honest with you. And that's the same group that we're trying to work with here on the North Point Eyewear.
Cool. Orlando wants to know, is small run private label possible in the future?
It is, and that's something that we're working towards. There's a couple of things that I see that are real gaps in the eyewear market. One of them is the ability to do private label and smaller runs, and we can do private label. We can do things with different colors with our existing designs. With that laser engraver, we can do a lot in terms of small runs and be able to put your logo on it, that type of thing. And the other thing that we can do is we can do more customization with different temple lengths, different frame widths, that kind of thing. So if somebody likes a design, their face is too wide, their ears are back too far, whatever, we can do production runs where we can do longer temple lengths or wider frame fronts and really accommodate with more flexibility, almost like the industry used to be 40 years ago, where you had those parts to be able to put together a frame that fits somebody. It's kind of
okay. Yeah, I mean,
custom,
I always
kind of semi-custom.
I've made custom frames before where my biggest breakthrough was I had this Korean girl. She was 8 years old. Koreans generally have large heads, and there was no kids frame that fit her. There was no adult frame that fit her. And so I had like a 155 temple made custom. Luckily, her parents were affluent and they could afford it, but it's such a special thing to do little one-off customizations. I wasn't asking much. I was just asking for a long temple. So, can we see some of the frames up close? Some colorful ones, maybe that'll show better on video.
This is I don't know how colorful this is. This is one of the
nice.
another block acetate frame that's keyhole bridge, and there's another. It's more of a snow leopard tortoise.
Nice.
Nice, and we had some over on the other table that we came from, but we've got these are queued up, but follow me over here.
All right. And then Joe, someone wants to know, like, are you guys open for touring the factory if they're in the Northeast in the future?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're welcome to contact us. We'd be happy to have people come by and see the factory and take a quick tour, and not just the factory. I mean, we've got a lab here. We're doing chemistry clips. We've got a lot of neat pieces of equipment over there as well, and we got a lot of friendly people, and customers are certainly welcome.
Cool. Angela Weber wants to know, what's the substance in the tumblers? It was just a little loud then.
Okay, it's wood chips, and one of them also has some nylon pegs into it as well on the rougher grade. But it's varying sizes of wood pegs, and over time those wood chips or wood pegs they start to disintegrate, and so we have to constantly keep adding to them, and we have to clean out the excess compound, and we actually have a process too where we add a little bit of oil to condition the pegs to keep the dust down as well. So there's a lot of maintenance and a lot of know-how that goes into the tumbling process as well.
Okay, Brett Hunter, are the machines? This guy's an engineer, I can tell. Maybe not an engineer, but he's a gearhead. Are the machines primarily air powered?
Yes.
Okay.
They all run. Typically, they run on their three-phase voltage. Usually, the 220 industrial three-phase, and they all have an air component. We've got a system here. If you look, there's you see the blue pipe, and if you can pan up there, that runs around the little bit higher for the machines. That's the air that runs through here.
Okay. Seda Lalani wants to know about spring hinges. Is that something you're doing in the future?
Right now, we're not. I'm not saying we will never do that, but right now we're kind of concentrated around a hinge system that there's a 3-barrel and a 5-barrel that'll fit all the designs that we're working on right now.
Cool. All right. Anonymous attendee. It's it's up to you if you want to answer this. What's the square footage of the factory? What I think this person's really asking is, can I do this in my basement?
It is about, I want to say around total we have in our whole operation, like 19,000. I'm not sure what this is. This is probably, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. There's more space here than probably looks on the video. A lot of storage space here that you need for the inventory and everything.
Okay. How long does it take for the average frame to be made?
If you compress all the steps, the tumbling process is the longest process, is about 4 days. So the longest you could do a frame, the quickest you could do a frame would probably be about, I guess, 5 days. But typically the way the production's stacked up, it's going to take longer. It's going to probably take a couple of weeks typically to work its way through the process, or longer depending upon what the backlog is. In a production environment like this, you want to make sure that you got a piece that breaks or whatever, and it's down for a couple of days. You've got enough other pieces going through the system that you can keep everybody busy.
Right. Okay. Travis Lefevre, I can't. Are you heat sinking the majority of your hinges or using rivets too?
Right now we're heat sinking. In the future, we're also looking at potentially adding a riveting machine to be able to do rivets as well.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. What this is going to come up. What's the average wholesale cost of these products?
Right now, the target on the high end is going to be just south of $100, around say 95. We're looking at ways to try to get our production costs down. We're not fully in production yet, so I don't have a 100% handle on our costs. I have a pretty good idea, but that's where I think they're going to come in at, for the majority of the designs. Okay.
Everybody who's looking at the screen here, I'm sharing a QR code, which we're all familiar using. If you want to scan this QR code to put in a request to either talk to Joe's team or Joe himself, or just get more information, or maybe you're like, I'm ready to pull the trigger. Maybe you want to touch the frames. Please take a moment to scan that QR code. We're just going to ask you for your first name, last name, website, so we know you're legitimate, and his team will give you a buzz. So yeah, if you're just interested or whatever, just please scan that here. Let's see what else we got. What about do you customize frames for individuals?
We have the ability to do that with a prototyping machine. Right now, we're not doing that. It might be something we look at doing in the future. We're doing some things with respect to the next version of the design software that we're doing that may lend itself to be able to do more custom work. One of the unique things about our system is we've got a system that integrates the CAD design, the computer automated drafting with the computer automated manufacturing, with the CAM end. So when we design a frame, you don't only do the design, but you have to schedule a tool so that it actually can be manufactured in the CNC machines. One of the things that's unique about our system is that's all contained kind of within the same software package. So when Chris is working on a design, he's also got to schedule those tools. So you've got to automate all that those processes if you want to be able to do custom frames efficiently. And that's one of the things that we're working with our the equipment software manufacturer to be able to do that type of thing. There's a couple of different automations that we're working on that will really take this factory to the next level in the next 2 years.
Cool. All right. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second so people can click the link if they want. All right. All right. We're going to give away some gift cards here in a moment too. I'm going to put a poll up, give Joe a little breather. Thank you for everybody who's putting in those requests. It's just very helpful. All right. So I have a poll up. Who wants to be contacted by North Point to open an account? We're kind of just interested in a general consensus. And I'm going to actually show the eyewear clip system here in a minute, and then just kicks and giggles one about pizza. Hey, Joe, there was a question. Are you going to be going into chains or just private? I know we answered that a bit. There's even private practice chains today, so we have to be respectful of that.
Yeah, I mean, what you would call a chain, like a multi-door that kind of feels independent, we would certainly work with that. We're not talking about going into like discount chains or anything like that, but certainly chains that are that have a unique brand and it would fit in with what we're doing. We certainly would be interested in that.
Cool. All right. While this is running, we'll give this another 60 seconds. I'm gonna do a little plug for Joe because I'm an avid Chem Clip fan. I'm a -6, and for me to get a pair of sunwear is nearly impossible because I need something big for my face. Yet I don't want monster lenses, so chemistry clips are just a great alternative. If you sell chemistry clips, well, not the dog on Joe because he is a pioneer, but the old clip display system is a little antiquated. So they did work, and look at this. Look at this. This is nice. I'm gonna spotlight it for myself actually, so you guys can see me for a second. All right, there we go. All right, so this is the new clip display system. What brochure's going here, I think, or something on the side?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the eyewear goes on top, like so. And then there's a drawer that pulls out. And the drawer, oh, Joe's got it.
Yeah. So the tools that come with the display you can store in this drawer, and then it has room for the 2 frames, has room for the crystal wheel, and then you've got the lens wands. They're much smaller than in our old display. It's got all 24 colors, and some very nice photography on the side showing the product, and a lot of great feedback on this display. We really took a lot of time to try to come up with something that we thought would be an improvement on what we had, and as all the opticians tell us, they want something small that won't take up a lot of room in their stores. So this, I think, meets that criteria.
Cool. So yeah, if you want to talk just a minute about your colorblind clips.
Right. So we worked on this for quite a while as well with a company by the name of Hue AI, which is a company that develops different lens products using artificial intelligence and proprietary dyes. We developed this chemistry color, which is a colorblind lens for people with color vision deficiency. It's a notch filter that filters out wavelengths of light that help reduce the overlap between the green and the red color cones. It's caused by somebody who's either a deuterium or a protan. Without going into too much detail, basically, these filters enable the colorblind person to discern colors they wouldn't ordinarily be able to see. So we have this in 3 strengths. We have it in outdoor moderate, which is kind of this tint. And then we have an outdoor severe, which is a little bit more powerful filter. And then we have an indoor lens, which is much more slightly tinted. It's like a very light gray. It's designed for use indoors. The filter aligns more closely with the outdoor moderate on the indoor lens. We have 3 of them. We sell it as a clip. We sell it as a ready-made. And we also sell the lenses as uncut. So if you have an edger in your office and you want to be able to make chemistry color lenses on any frame off your board, you can do that. Just buy the lenses and run them through the edger.
Yeah, I love the chemistry color system because it's not likely someone wants to wear color vision
all the time,
tinted
right.
lenses 24/7. So it allows them to get the product at a fair price and not have to dish out, an extra $800 or something for a second pair.
Yeah, I will tell you the aesthetics of these are much better than any other colorblind lens I've seen on the market. And a lot of that has to do with the types of dyes that we use. They're basically non-optical dyes that were developed specifically for use in this product. And they look like regular sunglass lenses. On the outdoor severe, it almost looks like a G15. I'm not sure if you're picking up the green there. And the moderate, it's more of like a standard, almost a gray color. And the indoor is just a very light gray.
So the clips,
like
the colorblind clips, are they focused towards protans, deutans, a mix?
They work on both. I mean, the majority of people that are colorblind are deutans, but we've had success with protans as well. I mean, you're dealing with the same overlap of the color cones of the green and the red. They also help distinguishing colors, down more towards like the lilacs, like some of the shades of blue. These tend to work extremely well as well, which are also due to that shifting in the perception from the color tones.
Awesome. So again, I'm sharing the QR code if you want to scan that, or there's a link in the chat if you want to talk to the team at North Point Eyewear, or Eyenavision is the name of the company as well. And scan that. They'll get in touch with you. And give that a second here. What else can you share about North Point? Are you going to be at Vision Expo? Let's ask that.
We will be at Vision Expo West. Absolutely. We'll have a booth again there. And that's going to be our big coming out party. We'll have the full collection on display, and we'll definitely be there. Okay.
Someone asked, what does an opening order look like?
We're not big on trying to impose minimums on people. I mean, we're pretty simple, straightforward. I mean, it makes sense to order enough depending upon the size of your operation so that you can show a collection that makes sense that you actually bought into the product. We're going to have some buy-in deals initially and some initial specials, but trying to force some kind of a massive buy-in like the big frame companies do, I'm not a big fan of that. Like I said, I think you work with the customer to do what makes sense for their store based upon the space and how they want to show it. It's just got to make sense and be a win-win for both of us. If you just carry 2 or 3 frames, you're not going to be able to generate the kind of excitement with your own customers. So we want to do what would make sense for you to be successful. And if you're successful, we'll be successful.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to share my screen more. If you guys have questions here, we're going to finish up in 10 or 15 minutes here probably. Put them in the chat, put them in the Q&A. Let's go rapid fire. We're going to answer everything, whether it's about the colorblind clips, whether it's about eyewear manufacturing, business. Let us know here. All right, let's give away some prizes now. Where do I go? Okay. Someone was dogging on me. I got too many tabs open, but this is like half the tabs usually because my screen is massive. I'm looking at. All right. I like jokes. All right. Nicole won last time, so you can win again. Nicole got a nice bottle of, I don't even know what booze we gave her last time. All right, Nicole, give you another gift card. Bourbon. It was bourbon. Peace. You're a winner as well. And we'll pick one more. And Amy Connor, you are a winner as well. So congratulations. We'll text you how to redeem your $25 Amazon gift card. Well, more questions, everybody. Come on, let's challenge Joe. How? Oh, that's a nice display.
Yeah, here's a display for the chemistry color lenses. So it shows our 3 ready-made frames and also 1 clip. So we do the indoor as a clip, and then we show the 2 outdoor frames, and this is the box that it comes with. And then we have a nice colorful display or photograph that somebody who's colorblind will appreciate new colors. And comes in a nice, attractive box, the ready-mades. And
awesome. What's the ECP program for this? What's the buy-in? Do we just buy like a couple pairs in the display?
So
is that it?
Right. So if you buy 3 of the ready-mades and they wholesale for $95, you get the display, which includes the clip-on and the 2 demos of the frame. So you basically get 3 demos and 3 ready-mades you can sell for $285.
Okay. Do you have training for the chemistry color? Because, most of us, opticians and doctors, color blindness affects 8% of American males and like less than 1% of females. So it's generally not something that we know how to sell. Just to clarify things, this does not fix color blindness. It's kind of like an enhancement. I even know people that wear colorblind lenses for the playing golf or other outdoor activities. It just gives you this like
great contrast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do webinars with all of our customers and talk to them about not only how the lenses work, but what you can expect when you're in the dispensing process and how people react to them and an adaptation period, all that type of thing, the difference between the moderate and the severe. We cover all of that. And we have brochures and other information, and we can always jump on a call if somebody has any questions or wants to repeat the webinar. But we do that, and it's an interesting product, a little bit different than what people are used to selling, but it's a great product that certainly satisfies a nice niche. So
cool. Jason wants to know, when are surfaced or stock colorblind lenses for RX going to be available? He needed an RX version today, and Joe failed me big time. No, I added the last part, but
yeah, we were actually working on creating a lens blank in each of those that can be surfaced, and we hope to have something. It's probably going to be either the end of this year or early 2022 before we have something on that front, though. To be perfectly honest. So we stock this in multiple base curves. So as a clip, I mean, we have them in 2, 4, and 6 base, so it should fit pretty much any RX. And then we also have it in 4 and 6 base in the ready-made, so it'll fit most of the frames on your board.
and well, let's talk about laboratories. So most laboratories carry chemistry clips, every,
Right.
there's very few that probably don't.
Right.
Can we get chemistry color through our existing lab relationships?
Yes, you can. Most of our labs have picked up the product. Those that haven't can buy, can certainly order it from us. And, it's a simple product for them to make similar to the chemistry clip. And we've done a lot of work with the labs too, in terms of, partnering with them to, train their reps and get them up to speed on the product so they can be successful with it as well.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, let's see if any more questions here. All right, I'll ask the question. Richard Rebuck, how do your color lenses vary from Chromogen or Color My World?
I'm not as familiar with Chromogen. I'm familiar with Color My World because we've done some clips with the doctor who invented that. Ours are a little bit different. I don't like to speak to somebody else's product per se, but ours are designed a little bit differently in terms of they're not a little bit less saturation in the color. I think white looks white. With our lenses, they look more like a sunglass lens. And the way they filter, and we share this information with our customers so you can actually see the notch filters, how radical they truly are in terms of blocking specific wavelengths. They just don't saturate a specific color to create a color. They actually block specific wavelengths to create that separation.
Okay. Awesome. I'm trying to think of more challenging questions I can ask you.
Bring it on, Perry.
I know. Let me think of something. Why? Okay. Why hasn't anyone else? Well, there's a few eyewear companies in the USA that make frames. Why is it such a barrier to entry? Why? How come there's not 50 of North Points out there?
Right. Well, did a lot of research on why the frame business kind of collapsed in the U.S. And it was a lot of that to do with the failure to adapt new technology. And with the technology out there now, it can be done in the U.S. The biggest challenge is, none of the U.S. CNC machine companies really make a machine configured with what's called that fifth axis. And you almost have to go to a foreign company that is experienced in making eyewear. And a few of them actually buy machines from the U.S. and they'll retrofit them and they'll sell them back to you. That's one issue. Another issue is when you buy equipment overseas, there's a lot of electrical wiring issues that you have to deal with, which we were able to deal with the company that provided us the equipment. It's one of the issues when you buy things from China is it's not designed to meet our electrical standards or our safety standards. And so you do that at your own peril. We were able to resolve a lot of those issues with the suppliers we work with to make sure that it would run on our electrical grid and that it also met our safety standards, which is a big deal. And then it's just a training issue too. I mean, it's been a very difficult project for us to do this. I mean, we've been able to do it, but we've had a great team working on this. We knew it was tough going in, and we've really built a really good team that is dedicated to getting this done. And that's really what you need to be able to do it. It's a different type of skill set. You need technology skills, you need process skills, you need to understand design. There's a lot that goes into making a frame.
Okay. Okay. This is funny. Someone's complaining about chemistry clips and their lab is not good at making them. I will tell you, you can make, if you have an edger, it's probably like a 95% you can make chemistry clips in your own office, right?
Right. Yeah, we have a lab
And-
here that can make them. I mean, we have a lab here with about 6 edgers in it that makes clips all day long that customers send us to. But yeah, usually if you have an issue with a lab, if you even call us, we'll work with that lab and on the, sometimes it might be a training issue. Generally though, our labs do a pretty good job of making the clips, that are in our network. If they're having issues or problems, we work with them to work through those.
Yeah, 100%. I've made many chemistry clips, and some labs are they just have a couple of people that really care, and they take pride in it. And then but it's like our offices, Joe. You have a head optician quits, they're the lead salesperson, and then you go through a retraining process.
Exactly.
But I will say the chem clip patients are diehard. They will get it year after year after year.
Yep. People love the chemistry clips. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, give us some okay, Richard Rebuck is giving me it's a little fun. Why the weird spelling of chemistry?
That actually predated me. We got an outside branding agency, which I guess at the time that was probably in vogue. But the concept of chemistry had to do with the clip working well with the frame and kind of working in unison, having good chemistry. And I think if we spelled it the other way, people would think we were selling chemicals or something, or we were a chemistry lab. So, that was the concept behind chemistry. And it's really served us well. I mean, people refer to the clips as their chemistries. And, when I first got involved, I wasn't so sure about the brand, but it's really grown on me. And it really has served us well.
Right. All right. I have 3 more winners, so let's get these out of the way. Cliff, he already won. Jane Summers. Jane's fun. She's a bright optician. We'll text you. I think Orlando already won. Okay, no Orlando, I heard. Orlando and one more. Lynette, was there a Lynette? Okay, and Lynette, I'm gonna stop sharing and check my results here. Well, Joe, give us some concluding remarks just about Eyenavision and North Point and what you want the audience to really take away from this.
Yeah, man, I think the big thing to take away is, we're open for business now on the frame front, and we're looking forward to the launch of North Point, and always looking for feedback and people that are looking to work with us. I mean, we're a very easy company to work with, and I really think that we're onto something here in terms of a niche to work with the independent ECPs and create a product that can be very successful with, and we're really looking forward to it. So, if you're ever in Pittsburgh, give us a call and stop by. And feel free to give us a buzz, and we'd be happy to get in touch with you and explain more about what we're doing.
Awesome. I have one more to give away. We had one duplicate, I think. Okay. Just a second. I have my expert counter is back here.
I have Mariana Peterson calling Zewe.
Just count.
What you guys call it? Gary, Dean.
We have 12.
You guys come up.
Is this the team?
This is the team right here.
Man, those are some clean aprons, guys.
Yeah, the aprons are a nice touch.
Yeah, I like them.
And Chris.
So what are the
Christy's back there working still.
Awesome. I don't know. Would you mind, one of the gentlemen? I'm sure they've never made eyewear in their life. What's their experience like from the ground up, breaking trends?
What's your experience? What did you do before eyewear, Jerry?
I was a machinist.
And Dean?
IT.
He was an IT genius, best IT guy. And Christy, what did you do before the eyewear business?
I worked in fruit. I was producing fruit.
Exactly. So
Fruit?
it's diverse group. And then Chris,
So architecture.
yeah, he was a architecture, worked for an architecture firm and locally here. And, you know, each one of these people play a valuable role. We got a great team. We've got a few other people here that are not here, and we're adding several more to the team. So
Yeah.
it's been
This is
great.
really
And the
cool.
Eyenavision, yeah,
I think it's cool because, you know, in opticianry and doctor world, we have halted ourselves in the profession, and we have to continue to develop. And you guys are at the forefront of it. And maybe an optician learns dispensing for 5-10 years, and then all of a sudden they're like, let me get into manufacturing. And then they start
Right.
blending. You become a better dispenser when you understand the technicals.
right. And we have a couple of opticians that work here as well. They're not here this evening. They worked earlier today, but you know, we've got a couple of people here that both have at least 30 years in the business that are working here in the factory as well. And for them, it's been great because they've always, you know, wondered how frames are made, and now they're part of it. And it's one of the great things about the business here. I mean, we've got a lot of very experienced opticians over in our lab, and we don't have a lot of turnover, and that's been a key part of our success, is the traction of employees that stick with us and really know their jobs. And it's been a great experience here at Eyenavision.
Awesome. I'm going to do one more plug for myself. I have a Facebook group. You'll get a lot of education in there. Perhaps if you have more questions about North Point and you want to chime in, I'll put a post up probably tomorrow. I'm going to put my link to my Facebook group. It's all about entrepreneurship and eye care. We talk a lot about efficiency, employment, sales, making money, clinical stuff. So I'm going to put my Facebook group in there. It's about 2,000 individuals. So 1 second. Well, Joe, I want to thank you and the team there. You guys have quite the operation, and it's just the beginning. So I will say, for everybody, let's say you get North Point and you're like, well, these are not my favorite designs. Well, that's okay. You're buying for your patients, not necessarily for yourself. So you always have to take that into account. These are not French flamboyant European frames. Maybe one day North Point will have that collection, right?
Right.
I will say it's a very wearable collection, easy colors to wear, bread and butter with that American, you know, pride behind it.
So, yep. Okay. Well, thank you, Perry. I really appreciate you in this process as well. It's been a great event, and we appreciate everything you do as well.
All right. Good night, guys. Take care. Bye.
All right. See you, Perry.